The latest intelligence update from the United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense on Ukraine, September 18, 2023. Over the past 2 weeks, Russia has likely further reinforced the heavily pressured 58th Combined Arms Army with additional airborne units from the VDV, Vozdушno Desantny Vojska, on the Orikhiv axis in Zaporizhzhia Oblast. At least 5 airborne regiments drawn from the 7th and 76th Airborne Divisions have likely now concentrated within several kilometers of the frontline village of Robotyne. At full strength, this force could number around 10,000 elite paratroopers. However, it is highly likely that almost all of these units are significantly understrength. This situation is probably seen as highly unsatisfactory by the airborne VDV leadership. Throughout the war, Russian commanders have attempted to regenerate the airborne forces as a highly mobile, offensive striking force. Yet once again, they are being deployed as line infantry to reinforce overextended ground forces. Ukraine Armed Forces General Staff Update. Day 572 of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The situation in eastern and southern Ukraine remains dynamic. On September 18th, there were 20 engagements. Overnight, Russia launched another missile and drone strike against Ukraine, using air-launched cruise missiles and Shahed-136 and Shahed-131 kamikaze drones. Ukraine's Air Force and air defenses destroyed all 17 cruise missiles and 18 out of 24 Shahed drones. In total, Russia conducted 17 missile strikes, 33 air strikes, and 26 multiple launch rocket system strikes against Ukrainian positions and settlements. Northwest, no major changes along Belarus border. Some Belarusian units performing tasks near the border. North, Russia maintains forces along the border, continues shelling settlements from Russian territory. Over 15 settlements shelled, including in Chernihiv, Sumy, and Kharkiv oblasts. Kupiansk, Russia launched airstrikes near Kupiansk and settlements in Kharkiv Oblast, artillery and mortar fire on several settlements. Lyman, airstrikes near Bilohorivka and Novosadov, over 10 settlements shelled. Bakhmut, Ukraine repelled Russian attacks near Klishchivka. Russia unsuccessfully tried to retake Andriivka. Airstrike on Bakhmut, over 10 settlements shelled. Avdiivka, airstrike near Avdiivka. Artillery and mortars on about 10 settlements. Marinka, Ukraine repelled 10 Russian attacks near Marinka. Airstrike on Krasnohorivka. Shelling of settlements. Vuhledar, airstrikes near Vuhledar and Staromayorsky. Shelling of multiple settlements. Zaporizhzhia, Ukraine repelled attacks near Robotyne. Airstrikes near Tokmachka and Robotyne, over 15 settlements shelled. Kherson, airstrikes near Vesel, Odrodokamyensky, Mykolaievka. Shelling of around 10 settlements. Ukraine continues counteroffensive operations near Melitopol and Bakhmut, gradually liberating occupied territories. On September 18th, Ukraine's Air Force conducted 8 airstrikes on Russian forces. Missile troops struck Russian command posts, air defenses, artillery, and troops. The Institute for the Study of War Russian Offensive Campaign Assessment. Ukraine's recapture of Klishchivka and Andriivka south of Bakhmut may have degraded the Russian defense in that area and rendered combat ineffective up to 3 Russian brigades, according to Ukrainian military officials. On September 18th, Ukrainian Ground Forces Commander Colonel General Alexander Syrsky stated that Klishchivka, 7 kilometers southwest of Bakhmut, and Andriivka, 10 kilometers southwest, were important parts of the Russian defensive line between Bakhmut and Horlivka that Ukrainian forces had breached. On September 17th, Ukrainian Eastern Group of Forces spokesperson Captain Ilya Yevlash said Ukraine's liberation of Klishchivka will allow Ukrainian forces to control key Russian ground lines of communication supplying Russian forces around Bakhmut, likely referring to the T-0513 Bakhmut-Horlivka highway. The Institute for the Study of War cannot independently evaluate the extent of Russian fortifications near Bakhmut, though they are likely less developed than in southern Ukraine. Russian forces south of Bakhmut are also probably battle-weary after trying to hold Klishchivka and Andriivka, and losing control of settlements defending a key ground lines of communication indicates these forces will struggle to replenish strength and defend against further Ukrainian offensives south of Bakhmut. However, there are no immediate signs Ukraine's gains near Bakhmut will accelerate their advance southward. The Russian defensive positions west of the T-0513 will likely continue posing challenges for Ukrainian forces in the area. The Institute for the Study of War key takeaways today. Ukrainian counteroffensive operations may have severely degraded parts of Russia's elastic defense in western Zaporizhzhia Oblast. Recent Ukrainian advances south of Bakhmut likely correspond to the degradation of defending Russian units there. Overnight September 17th to 18th, Russia conducted drone and cruise missile strikes on Ukraine's coastal and rear areas. An organization allegedly tied to Russian official Sergei Kirienko is reportedly spreading pro-war propaganda and misinformation to key Russian influencers. On September 18th, Russian forces conducted offensives along the Kupiansk-Svatov-Kreminna line, near Bakhmut, around Avdiivka-Donetsk in western Zaporizhzhia, and advanced in some areas. On September 18th, Ukrainian forces conducted counteroffensives in at least 2 sectors, advancing in western Zaporizhzhia. Some sources claim former Wagner personnel are working with Russia's Rogue Gvardia to return to fighting in Ukraine.